Hello, in this little video, I'd like to show you how to use assignments in Moodle. We talked in the last video about how to use forums, which are a type of assignment, but forums are great for process writing, processes where you want students to interact online. Forums are great for that because in a forum, all the students can see the work that's posted. You can still grade it, and I'll talk more about how to grade things later on. But forums are great for encouraging online communication that's constructive, and you can see all the communication and grade it. That's great. But what about assignments where, like, it's a final draft of a paper that students may not want other people to see, or you don't want students to interact necessarily, you just want to give them a test or a quiz or something like that? Well, that's where assignments come in. So for this part, be sure you have edit mode turned on. You'll need to have your grades configured. So if you haven't set up your gradebook yet, go back to the video about grades and do that first. And then let's jump in. So let's say you want to add, I'll go down just randomly to a different unit. Let's say for the longer fiction, you want to add a new activity and you'll want to go to assignment. If you see the whole list like that, you'll probably see it this way when you first come in. I have it starred because my favorite tools I've starred, and that's not so I don't have to look through all the choices every time. So let's say for longer fiction, you have a final assignment which is literary analysis of what's a good nonfiction text. Gaysburg. Is that how you spell Gaysburg? It'll work for this one. The Gaysburg address. Okay. You'll type your description of your assignment here. Go back. Let's see. Then you go down. Now you'll see with assignments, the menu here is a little bit different than it is for forums, because for assignments you can't submit. I mean, you can enable it so that there's a start date for the assignment, and then there's a due date, and there's a cutoff date, and remind me of a grade date. Those can all be really helpful. I usually do the thing where I only allow submissions from a certain date. So let's say this is coming later in the year, let's say in October. Let's say I'll allow submissions to come in from October 30th to November 30th. So I'll give students about a week to turn in assignments, because I don't want them to do the assignment before I've instructed them, but I want them to have a decent margin of time to turn it off. If you turn in a cutoff date, like, so let's say it's 17th of November, that means by the time it gets to this date, the assignment's dead. The students cannot turn in the assignment anymore. I do that sometimes, but not always. I almost never use the remind me to grade feature, but if you do that, it'll send you an email on that date saying, hey, remember to grade this. Now, for submission types, you can either do a file submission where they upload a document. That's fine, but usually I have them just share an online text because I have my students use Google Docs, and I like Google Docs because it can let me comment right on the paper more easily. Moodle will let you do that now with Word documents and other things that have been submitted, but usually I just have them put in a link. If you have an online text, you can enable a word limit, which says, like, you must be under 1,500 words, because I might have some students who just love to write too much. So you don't have to do this, but you can put in a limit for words. Let's see. I don't change the feedback types much, but probably you want it so you can annotate the PDF file and give feedback comments. Almost always that's helpful. So just usually your defaults there are good. The other thing that you might want to change is the grade. So this one, this is which category is this? I forgot the assignment. Yeah, literary analysis for nonfiction. So let's say down here, I want to make sure, since my gradebook is set up, I can go down here and say I want it nonfiction, and the maximum grade will be 200, because this is a huge assignment. But this one, I want to use a rubric. I don't want to just make comments. I want a clear rubric. And if you put in a grade to pass, like 70%, this means when the student sees their grade in the grade book, it will be marked green if it's above this. If it's below this, it will be marked red. So it's just a way to motivate students. For the activity completion, they only get the little check mark, and I'll show you that in a minute. When conditions are met, they have to not only view it, they have to make a submission. I don't usually mark they must receive a grade, because then they get anxious if I haven't graded it fast enough. Then save and display. This lets me see what's there. That's random text. Well, what's the problem with this? Let's see. It has, so 100 is the most. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, between 1 and 100. Save and display. I have to change my other math. Okay, now if you click on Save and Display, since I said I want to grade it, I actually want a marking guide for it. Marking guides are simpler to create than rubrics in Moodle, but they both work. Let's say I wanted to define a new one from scratch. This is the first time I've done a marking guide. So I'll type nonfiction analysis as the title. Now, it'll ask you for criteria. So let's say the first criterion is professionalism. And I'll describe it for the students as you met the deadlines and completed the entire assignment correctly. Now, just for simple math, let's say out of 20 points possible, this will be worth 5. And then I'll add another one. Language use. Describe it for the students as your grammar and mechanics contributed to the effectiveness of your work. Now you can add as many of these things as you want, as many of these criteria as you want, and you can put in whatever numbers you want here. Now, watch what happens though as I save it. Oh, you can also add frequent comments. I don't usually do this, but you can add, if you know you're going to write certain comments often, you can say things like lost points, returning, or for failings, edit your spelling, something like that. Now, if you do this, that means when you make comments later, you can just click on it. You don't have to retype. Now, here's the part that's kind of fun. When you go in to grade it, hopefully it'll show you the rubric the way it should. Let's say there are no submissions yet, but let's say you go in to grade this. And yeah, good. So you'll see that there's a grade that you can give. So, sorry, something changed? Something did not go well with that. What happened? Oh, the problem is that, yeah. So you have this. Something's not ready with my marking guide. Let's see what happened with this. Let me go back to it real quick. Moodle's really good at telling you you've made some mistakes. Save marking guide and make it ready to use. Is it ready now? Yes. Okay. So your marking guide has a maximum grade of 10, but the maximum grade for the activity is 100. So Moodle will basically Moodle will do the math for you and round appropriately for everything. So you don't have to worry. Your marking guide does not have to line up exactly to the number of points that you said this assignment is worth. That's good. So let's go back to it and see if we can check it now. Yes. So grade. And now I see the marking guide. So when the student has turned in the work, I'll see the work over here. Moodle will let you make inline comments, highlight parts, edit it, write your comments right on the document. And then you can add extra comments over on the side and put in grades over here. The student did an okay job with spelling, but met all the requirements. And you can add extra feedback that will appear in the gradebook if you want. And you just go to Save and Show Next, and you run through all the assignments, grading it. And when you're done, you can go back to your class, look at the grades, and it's easier to look at the grades when it's not in edit mode. And now you'll see the student has these grades. They got a passing. It's has that nice green check and everything, and you can go through it and see all the grades for all your students. It's all in one place. So hope this helps with your grading and assignments and creating marking guides and rubrics.